blessing. So how did you get your start? We know you were in The Voice, but how did you get your start
Yes.
into music?
Man, I always joke about being an immigrant and how like when you're an immigrant, you're only allowed to be like in finance or a lawyer or a doctor or
Hmm.
very some white collar profession. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, man, at some point I fell in love like truly with music. And at 7, I remember being in the backseat of my babysitter's car, and like there was some piece of music I heard, and I was like, man, whatever that is, I want to do it. And then I
Yeah.
like wanted McDonald's the next minute. You know what I mean? Just kind of
Oh yeah.
as a kid does. But that thought stuck in my brain. Um, and a little later on, we got a piano in the house, and then piano lessons became the obsession. And man, it's never been anything but funny story, used to answer phones at an insurance firm. It was terrible.
Okay. Yeah.
That was my
Hmm.
one foray into the 9 to 5 world. And I was like, well, this is awful. I never want
Yeah.
to do
I'm not doing that
this.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then The Voice. How'd you get tied into that?
So funnily enough, it's so back in my starving artist days, not that they're completely over, but they're less starving now, thank God. I lived in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn was a weird thing. There's a huge band like in the Prague jazz universe called Snarky Puppy. And Snarky Puppy, they're just these monster musicians. Corey Henry used to be in there. Brad Williams, Justin
Mm-hmm.
Stanton, like all these great, very hip jazz musicians. And I grew up with those guys in New York.
Hmm.
We'd go hang out. I'd go to their shows before anybody knew who they were. And they were like just kind of Brooklyn, kind of underground. And enough of that stuff, I would go and I'd play a song here and there. And, they were very, very sweet. Learn how to write from a lot of those guys. And I guess enough of those videos had gone around and somebody from The Voice had seen one and reached out to me and said, hey man, like we'd love to have you on the show.
Mm.
I'd had enough of my friends kind of do The Voice that I realized that it's a TV show. It's not how you become a singer, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
per se.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I said, I'm working hard in New York. I don't really want to take a year off to maybe be on TV. That doesn't seem like a deal. So the
Right.
executive producer said, give us one audition and we'll give you yes or no for television. And so I said, okay.
Mm.
And that's how that happened. And even just like having my head on right about it, just from seeing other friends, like that it's a great show and it's about getting America involved with the interpersonal judge relationships as it relates to the next singer and the next singer. It's not so
Yeah.
much a show about the singer, it's yourself. Like, it's like a conveyor belt. You're all going through there, but like,
Yeah.
oh,
Right.
did so and so say something snarky to so and so? You know what I mean? It's about
Mm.
it's
Yeah.
about the judges, and if you play your cards right, you get a few moments on in the middle of America's attention, and that's awesome. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that in and of itself does not make a music career. I remember being in hair and makeup, and my friend next to me says, "Wow, we really made it, you guys! Like, I can't believe this is the feeling." And in my brain, I was like, "What the heck are you talking about?" Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, a long
they,
way.
they literally have 3 other seasons in the can right now. Like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about? You haven't made anything. So, my plan after The Voice was always just to go back to writing songs, but maybe I get a couple more meetings a little easier because someone saw me on TV, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
But that was pretty much it. I went back to Nashville pretty quickly after that, and just settled in for the hustle.